What's up, guys? Welcome to Not for the Week. It's your boy James in the building with Fuckboy Fitness himself.
It's me. It's fucking drunk boy fitness laying back on my bullshit.
Dude, the coronavirus is getting you, huh?
It's so annoying. Yeah, just like I just need everything would be fine if just like I could go to the fucking gym.
Dude, it's wild, man. Like, here we
Yeah.
are. It's like, what? This is the second week of quarantine, basically, in Oregon.
Yeah.
And it's like, my mind is going insane.
Yeah. It's absurd. There was like some rumor that was leaked, this is not going to happen, but there was like somebody saying that they were like, oh, I heard that they're going to take away like, I don't think it was like cell phone service, but I think it was like something about like the internet or something, like basically saying, and I was like, no, they're not going to do that. I was like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, dude, that's the problem with this whole thing is like there's so much misinformation out there. There's so many people that are like, you know, some people think it's a fake. Some people think it's like the end of the world. Some people think like you can cure it with this, and some people think you can cure it with this. And then there's like all these people saying like this amount of people died, and other people think, oh no, this amount of people have died. It's like there's so much misinformation. It's like, who the fuck do you believe?
Right. Yeah, well, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Why I keep going back and forth with it is I don't know what to believe, and I just like, I don't know. I think the main thing that I'm seeing is a lot of people are really scared, like on Instagram particularly, and like Facebook and stuff. Like everybody's like saying, I don't know, like people, there's like rumors that like all these people are gonna die, but I'm just like, well, from my understanding, it's been here for quite some time. Like it's been here for not just like, I think it's been here for longer than we think.
Yeah.
And because my theory is, and talking to people about it, I'm pretty fucking sure I had this already in January.
Yeah.
So like I'm about 100% positive I did. Just based off of the symptoms and kind of like what I'm seeing. And so it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like, I don't know, it's so weird because to me, it just seems like a flu, like a bad one, or like maybe like a respiratory, like almost like pneumonia, like symptoms, like afterwards is what I had, but like a flu that's like a little bit more severe, with like respiratory symptoms and stuff like that. So like with that being said, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a sickness. Like, I don't know why it's like, I don't know. It's like anytime like the flu's around, it's not like, I think it's just because the flu's already been here and so many different strands of the flu have been here that it's like, oh, okay, like it's just the flu. Like, it's just the flu. Like, it's not like we're not going to have this big pandemic where people are going to go on quarantine for a while because we've already heard of it, but it still kills people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People are still dying from the flu.
And that's the crazy thing is that like, yeah, the flu kills so many people every year, and like nobody trips about it really for the most part.
Yeah, and then here comes the corona.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
I guess their only argument there is really like that the corona supposedly has killed more people has killed a lot of people in such a short amount of time, I guess, is what their argument is. Which, I mean, we don't know. Like, obviously, you think you've had it in January. I have a client that actually thinks he got it at the end of October when he got on this cruise. He went on a cruise and he had the flu, or what he thought was the flu, for like 2 weeks. And it was like trouble breathing. It was like the worst flu he's ever had, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's in good shape for being an older guy. He's like in his 60s, but he's like super good shape. But like he said, it like was the worst flu he's ever had. He was coughing up all this mucus for over almost 2 weeks, and it sounds almost exactly like kind of what he was waking up with like cold sweats, like covered in sweat. And so it sounds almost exactly the same. And he had that in like end of October after he went on this cruise. So it's like, is it the same thing? And we'll never know, right? We'll never know if it was the same thing. But if it was the same thing, then maybe it's not as big of a deal as people are making it out to seem because it's been around since October, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, my thing is I think it is like some kind of my theory is I think it is some kind of I don't want to say a hoax because obviously it is it's a
Yeah,
real
it's not a
virus.
hoax. It's like a real it's
It's
a
not
real
a
thing, but it's
it's a real thing, but there is a reason as to why it's like there is some kind of a reason I think as to why it's being why we're quarantined, like why it's being so blown up, like all this shit. I don't know. But or is that just a result of what our society would do when something like this happens? You know what I
that's what
mean?
I was thinking about the other day. I was like, dude, like as a society, we've kind of become soft. You know what I mean? Like overall,
Yeah.
like we've become very like everything offends everybody else. Like you can't say certain things. Like as a whole, we've kind of become a lot softer. Like
Right.
and so like is this just a further like escalation of us becoming softer and now like every little thing is going to freak us out kind of thing? Like obviously it's serious, like people like a lot of people have died, right? But the
Yeah.
thing about, and it sounds cold, but a lot of people have died every single day. Like
Yeah.
something like over 1,000 people die, you know, a day from obesity related diseases, right?
Right.
So like
Right.
1,000 people die a day. This has killed 2,500 people in almost 2 months. Like and yeah, it's like, oh, every death, like, yeah, every death is sad. But if you mourned every single death of every single person on this planet, that's all you would spend your entire time doing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
It
exactly.
sucks though. It sucks that this is having to happen, but it also
The
sucks
only
how we're responding to it. I think to an extent.
100%. And I think that's why a lot of information is shielded from, regardless of what it is, when it comes to something that affects the entire country or just with something that's like maybe really serious. Theories, different theories, stuff like that. I think that's why information is shielded, is because look at how, you know what I mean, as a whole, how the country reacts.
Oh,
You know what I'm
dude,
saying?
imagine if aliens landed, bro.
Oh,
We would
yeah.
be in such anarchy and chaos because like this has basically shut down the world. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's not even, dude, like, okay, sorry, like, again, like, not trying to sound like an asshole here. Not very many people have died. Like, I mean, like, people
I
have
mean,
died.
yeah, a lot of people
Like,
have died, but like in the
but in
grand scheme
compare,
of things.
right? That's what I mean. In the comparison of like, I don't know, was it you or who was it that somebody just posted something that was like a statistic of like flu deaths, the coronavirus deaths. It was like heart disease, obesity.
No, it
It
wasn't
was
me.
like a literal chart. I don't know who it was. I want to almost go and see if I can find it. But yeah. I guess the argument could be like for how long the coronavirus has been here. Like a lot of people have died, and it is something that can see something like heart disease or obesity, or some like illnesses like that. Is they're usually correlated with your genetics,
Yeah.
typically. But like, whereas this could affect anybody,
Yeah.
but again, kind of like what we've talked about, it's almost like a natural, kind of like natural selection, or just take care of your body. Like, you know what I mean? Like people who aren't taking care of themselves or like whatever, like are gonna get fucked up. And if you do take care of yourself or you are a healthy individual, you might dodge it or you might just be sick for a little bit. Like it was, what I had in January was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty fucking terrible for sure. And Jonathan had the same thing. Jonathan actually had it the same time that I did. There's a few people that I've talked to in GPU who had it around the same exact time. I think it was the corona. I'm pretty sure it was the corona because it probably was like one of the like I've only had the flu like a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely probably like the worst flu I've had to my
Yeah.
knowledge. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think like the first flu you have maybe when you're like a little kid
Yeah, I
is
mean,
pretty bad.
it's all relative, like how it affects you
Yeah,
differently. But like, I think I don't know. It's tough because it does, and that's another thing. The misinformation out there. Like at first, it was like it's only killing old people, and now there's like some people saying, "Oh no, it kills younger people too that are in good health." But then you find out
yeah,
that some of these people that they're reporting that have died that are younger actually do have underlying health issues. Like there was that dude that died last week in L.A. and he supposedly died from corona, right? or he died from corona. He was like 32, and they were like, "Oh, he's in perfect health." And then come to find out, he just got out of like chemotherapy. So like, his immune system is fucked to begin with, right?
Yeah. So when people are saying perfect health,
Yeah, it's
it's
like yeah, he looks all right, but he's not. He does have underlying, and that's the thing is like
right.
that's my I think my biggest issue with this whole thing is the media spin on things like has made things dramatically worse, right? Like
Right.
the media has made it exponentially worse, like from a panic standpoint, and then on top of
Yeah.
that, social media has made it even worse because everybody thinks they are an expert, and everyone feels like their opinion is like super valid. And so I go on
Right.
Facebook and I got all these people saying like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," and like it's like, no, well, you don't know what you're talking about either. Like nobody
Right.
really knows what the fuck we're talking about. None of us are
Right.
doctors, and none of
Right.
you know. But the problem is like you get the media, which has their own agenda, and you have like the doctors, maybe these political based doctors, that have their own agenda too. It's like, who do you fucking believe nowadays, right?
Yeah.
I think at the
I
end of the
saw.
day, though, all that fucking matters is like take care of yourself.
Right.
Work out,
Yeah.
exercise, eat right, do the best you
Yeah.
can to keep your body internally healthy, and
Right.
shit like this won't affect you as badly.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I'll tell you what's like not healthy, and I mean, again, it kind of just boils down to, just how I don't know, just kind of trying to be constructive with what you got and trying to be as productive as you can with the cards that were dealt at the moment. But I'm telling you, what's not healthy for me is not being able to leave my house and go exercise, and just not being able to just do shit that like I don't know, like I want to go do. Because I feel like, especially like exercise and stuff like that, for me, it's good for my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And being
mentally,
like,
it's
yeah,
super important.
yeah, no, 100%. Like, I had a friend literally hit me up on Instagram, and he's like, dude, to be completely honest, like before I had the gym, like, he's like, I was depressed as fuck. And he's like, and honestly, like working out over the couple of years, really changed a lot for me. And this whole thing has made me realize the type of mindset that I have without being able to go exercise. Like, and you can, like, you can do stuff at home. Like, I know people are going to make the argument that like, it's like, well, just because you don't have the gym doesn't mean that you can't exercise. Yeah, you can. But I mean, it's like, but like, will you? And like, what do you have? Like, what do you have? Like, this is what I got dumbbells. I got 15-pound dumbbells and a band over there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and an ab roller.
Right.
And like, I mean, it's like I don't have a squat rack in my house. Like, I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I have a pull-up bar, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the
Like,
thing is you can get a workout anywhere, right? Like everyone always says
right.
that. Like you can do whatever. You can do push-ups, you can do sit-ups, you could go run. Like yeah, you can get a workout anywhere, but some of it is like the aspect of like working out at home is not appealing. And it's not
Right.
appealing because it's like it's not my home is like relaxation time.
Right.
So like cueing myself to like work out and go hard is difficult at home.
Right. Right.
Know.
And well, I mean, I think the thing for like a lot of people too is like, is going to the gym in general is kind of like a lot of people's like escape from bullshit and from like, whatever, maybe a stressful day at work, or just maybe you need to get out of the house. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you need to get out of your house, and it's like, we can't do that right now.
I think that's my issue with the whole quarantine thing is like, how do they classify what is essential, right? Like why why is the gym not considered essential? Like because it's been proven, right, that the healthier you are, the better shape you are, right? So like if you're in good shape and you're working at staying healthy and you're getting good blood flow and the lymphatic effect of like flushing your body, like that's therapeutic to the body. It's good for the body. It's good for staying healthy, right? And let's be real, most gyms, unless you're in like a huge metropolitan area, are not super crowded. Like you're not getting more than like 30 people in like a building. Right? Like just like Duo has maybe when it's busy, maybe 20 people max.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's spread out over like 10,000 feet.
Right. Well, it's like, why don't they at least like what we were talking about earlier, like liquor store? I don't know, are liquor stores essential or are they just open right now?
Liquor stores are considered essential, and so are marijuana dispensaries, coffee houses, right? Like all these things are considered essential. Like what makes that considered essential? Like why is a marijuana dispensary considered essential, right?
Yeah, because people are just gonna come back at you and argue that it's like they need it for medical reasons.
No.
It's
The
like,
the
okay,
reason the
motherfucker.
government has classified it as essential is because the government's making a killing right now off taxes, off the marijuana, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's real as fuck. Actually, yeah, that
Same
is
same with fucking, the alcohol taxes and stuff. It's not
right.
as dramatic as marijuana though, because marijuana is like a 25% tax that the government takes. So you
Yeah,
think about like all these people are stuck at home smoking weed, depressed as fuck. They're gonna smoke even more weed, and they're gonna buy more weed from these dispensaries, and these dispensaries are gonna pay massive amounts of taxes to the government.
yeah,
It's like, why is that considered essential, but the gym is not considered essential? Like, you could easily enforce like 6 feet apart at the gym, right? Like,
right, right.
wipe down your equipment. If anything, I would say that a gym could be considered one of the more sterile places. I went to the grocery store the other day on Sunday. I went to Fred
Yeah,
Meyer. Dude, there was legit like 100 and something people there. It was
no
like, it
way.
was so fucking crowded. I felt
That's
like
crazy.
so exposed. I was like, there's no way that I'm not catching corona right now.
Yeah, like that's the thing that I was thinking is like with gyms, it's like why not just be like, okay, either 6 feet apart or just limit how many people are in there. I don't
That's
understand
what I
why it's
mean. Yeah.
completely closed.
Yeah, like
Like,
why couldn't you do like a appointment basis? Like 10 people get to
right,
go in every hour. You know what I mean?
right,
Like why
yeah.
couldn't you do that? That'd be easily.
I don't. Yeah, there's a lot of horse shit going on with it right now. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. Like I know. Like for me, like right now, I'm not being like productive. Like I mean, there's so many people that I know that are like literally laid off or just like not doing anything right now. Like, and I'm just like, yeah, this is super healthy. This is great. Like this is like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, this is so good. Everybody's so happy right now. I'm sure like this isn't depressing the fuck out of like 99% of people. Like I was like, if any, like I don't know, but I'm just like I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, I heard that. So I did hear that around where we're at. I don't know if it was in Ashland or something like that, or it was Jacksonville. But I heard that there are a few cases.
Well, I guess there's 10 in Josephine County where Grants Pass is at.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
What I was confused about, and I don't know if you know, is I was told that we didn't have testing to see if you did have the coronavirus, but we're finding out that people do have the coronavirus. So like, how are we finding that out? I know that we don't have a cure.
Why,
Well, we
there's
don't.
testing to find out that you have it, but there's not testing to find out if you did have it at some point.
Mm.
Like they can't go back and say that you had it.
Does that sound right though?
Oh,
Like, does that
I don't know enough about any of that shit, dude. To be
I'm
real.
just like that's the thing. Like when people like that's like the I don't know, man. Like I just feel like there's so much like I feel like there's so much misinformation out there. I don't know.
All I know is
But
this is fucking insane, dude. The whole country is like shut down. Talk about the worst time possible to launch a supplement brand.
oh, dude, I know. I was thinking about that. I think I was thinking about that a couple days ago. I was like, bro, fucking James launching BLASTHOUSE and everything. We're all pumped about it, and then all this shit.
The
drops,
week
like,
that every single gym in America closed.
yeah, fuck, dude.
Well, GNC's still open, isn't it?
I think so.
Which
I
is
think so, bro.
wild. How is that considered an essential business?
I have no idea. Maybe because of it being like a nutrition store, like or
I
like being
guess,
like
yeah.
like it has like a wellness products or just things that can help people's immune systems. I don't know. Like that's I don't know. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It's scary times,
But
dude. Scary
yeah,
times.
yeah.
It
No,
definitely
for
makes you
sure.
think though, like, what if like something even more major happened? Like, like
Right.
people, like what the fuck is up with the toilet paper, bro? Like, why is everyone stockpiling toilet paper? Like, here we are, like 2 weeks into the quarantine, and there's still like no toilet paper whenever I go to the store.
That to me, I could honestly see people just seeing somebody else do that and then literally just like being like, oh, well, everyone's doing this, so I'm just gonna buy all the toilet paper. Like everybody on like Instagram and stuff like that's like buying all this toilet. That's what I think. I mean,
some dude's just walking by. He sees like some guy walking out with like 5 cases of toilet paper. He's like, oh shit, we're gonna run out of toilet paper. I should grab some too. And he like grabs another 5 cases. It's so ridiculous, dude.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, how about like water or like emergency packets or like, well, I guess emergency packets are probably kind of selling out and stuff too.
No, but like, not as much as you'd think. I was at the store the other day.
Are you serious? And there were times. What
there's no toilet paper. There's no toilet paper, and there's no rice.
Interesting.
Or cleaning supplies. Everything else is there, though.
Yeah, dude. Doesn't really give me a whole lot of hope in our society that if something even more dude, you could even say like aliens. You could even talk about like an alien landing here, like what we were talking about earlier.
Dude, it would be end of the world if fucking aliens showed up.
People would lose their minds.
Imagine all the Facebook posts from the fucking people.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I could literally see that it just being like a UFO or like an alien that was like literally just got here and was trying to get somewhere else, and the world would just turn into like, oh, he's hostile, he's trying to kill us.
It'd be straight out of a movie, dude. They'd be like, we gotta nuke him, his ass.
Oh, fucking kill him.
Dude's just trying to ask directions. He's like, how do I get to fucking Mars?
He's like, no. I know you guys have been here. I actually speak your language as well as like 3,000 others.
They're like, he's been studying us.
Everyone's like, he's trying to study us.
Oh my god,
he's trying to get in our minds.
Dude, that's wild.
I know, dude. Shit's crazy. I don't know. And then so is it official? It's going to be for another 4 weeks.
And so apparently it's into the end of April. That's the earliest it could open up.
Dude,
man,
I don't know
I don't know if I could take another 4 weeks of staying at home, dude.
No, dude.
Shit is rough. I don't know how people do that on a regular basis. Like, how do you just sit at home and do jack shit every fucking day?
I know. Yeah. It's been like this week has been like rough. Like, it's been like, I'm like going to start like running again or something. I'm like, I don't even know if I can do that. I don't even know if I'm going to get like arrested for going on a
Supposedly they're giving out tickets like in like certain parts of the country if you're out.
Yeah.
Like in LA, I think they're giving out tickets if you're doing non-essential things.
God.
I don't know.
Yeah, dude, they're just trying to turn us all into soft pussies. That's what they're trying to do.
At least the weather's not been super nice. Like, especially today, it was like raining. I was like, all right, I don't mind being quarantined since it's raining. Like, I can't do shit anyway. Yeah. But, dude, it's crazy. Like, imagine all the movies that are supposed to come out like right now. Like, Hollywood is totally fucked.
Well, I think I'm pretty sure the 3rd season of Real Bros Simi Valley. I don't know if you ever watched that. Have you ever watched those with Jimmy Tatro? Yeah. Oh, I finally watched American Vandal, the 1st season.
Dude, how was it? You liked it?
Dude, it's so funny. He's so literally good. I couldn't think of a better person to play that role.
No, he's so good at that character. Yeah. That's like him in a nutshell.
Yeah. No, exactly. He's so fucking funny. But they were talking about it. Him and what's his friend's name? Christian.
Yeah, Christian, the tall guy with the light skinned guy.
Yeah, exactly. They were saying that they actually, because of all of this happening, they had to they couldn't release a few of the episodes because they couldn't like go film it in those areas.
Oh.
So I mean, you could only imagine like if that's, and that's not even, that's for like,
that's like
that's
Facebook
not even like a
TV show.
Yeah, exactly. That's not even like a fucking major like producer or anything.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I've already watched like all of Netflix basically in the last week.
I'm trying to find something else cool.
You watched the Tiger King?
I actually started to watch that the other night, and then I saw that Ozark had a new season, so I finished that. I finished that new. Do you ever watch Ozark?
Yeah, I started the new season. I haven't finished it yet. I only finished the first episode.
That shit gets pretty good.
Jason Bateman's good in that.
He's literally like he's such a good actor, dude. Like
that show's just crazy in general. Like I don't know, like the whole idea of laundering money and shit.
that's like happening. That's like
Oh,
people do
100%,
that.
dude. Like,
That's like people are.
that's basically based
Yeah,
on a true story for the most
yeah.
part.
No, for real. Can you imagine just like seeing somebody like just some average looking like white dude like Jason Bateman like walking around? And you're like, how crazy would it be if that guy worked for a Mexican drug cartel
Laundering
and
their
laundered
money.
money?
And owns a casino to launder money.
Yeah, insane, dude. You're literally gonna fucking freak out when you see the I just finished it last night. The last couple episodes are insane, dude.
Does it set up for a 4th season?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's probably there. In my opinion, I think that there's gonna be like, well, they set it up. Of course, they did, but they set it up almost to where it seems like there's gonna be a lot more.
There has to be more than one season.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it low-key makes me want to go to the Ozarks. Like, go there for over the summer.
Is that where was that, Missouri?
Yeah, I think it's Missouri.
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be
I
like
know.
it's like legitimately a big tourist location. So
Yeah,
I'd be down to go out there. We should do it.
I'd be down to go
when the quarantine's over.
Dude, fuck it. Let's go right now. Let's just load up to Malibu. Let's go.
The worst, dude. I was thinking about the other day though, like we should legitimately start booking flights. Like if it wasn't for the fact that like who knows how long this could actually go on, and some of these events might not be going on anymore. But we should, if it weren't for that, I would say we should legitimately book every flight that we need to go to for the next like 6 to 8 months. Like we should book the Olympia, we should book Athleticon, we should book like just some other trip, like just book all those flights because I bet it's hella cheap right now. If you can even book the shit.
Yeah, I don't know if like I feel like I'd hop on my fucking like on the computer to like book a flight, and then all of a sudden I'd have like the FBI like on my door or something.
Like where are you going?
I'm like, dude. I was like, all right, you caught me. I worked for the fucking Mexican drug cartel, and I'm trying to go to the Ozarks.
Dude, do you think they're gonna cancel the Olympia?
Didn't Chris make a video about that?
He made a video. He was worried that they were going to, because basically, if you're doing the Olympia, you're basically starting prep like soon, like in the next week or two, I think.
Do you think that they would be canceling it due to this possibly getting prolonged, or do you think they're canceling it due to like, if you're an IFBB pro though, or if you're to that level,
you
like,
should be dieting anyway, right? Like just in case.
I wonder if they all have access to gyms though.
I would think that they do, or they at least have some sort of setup where they could work out, or they know somebody that has a gym, like a home gym setup that they could go work out at.
Fuck, bro! I wonder if this is going to be another kind of on the weaker side Olympia though, just with all of this going on, everybody being stressed.
I mean, who knows, dude? Yeah. Or who knows, like, who's not going to prep because they're like, oh, this might not go on, you know? Like, I know Justin's show is in July. His national show is in July. And I was talking to him about it last night. And he was basically saying, or not last night, like last week, I think, actually. And he was basically saying he's gonna prep for the USA show regardless. Like he's just gonna diet, and if it goes on, it goes on. If it doesn't go on, he's just gonna be in shape, right? Like, well, that's
that's
all you can do, really.
Yeah.
And he made a good point because he's like, when you diet for a bodybuilding show, regardless, like you never know what's gonna happen. Like you could get hurt in training and not compete, right? Or like, you know, maybe you don't get to where you want to be, and so you don't compete. Like there's a lot of shit that goes into it. So he made a good point. He's just going to diet for it, and if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, that's got to be so shitty though. Like I couldn't even imagine. Like I fucking train my ass off, like especially with all of this going on for like a 16-week prep or something, and then they're like 2 weeks out or like a week out, they're like, oh yeah, it's postponed or it's fucking canceled, or they would have to like. I feel like they should give them like I don't know, like a month in advance, or like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
It's tough. Like a dude on my Instagram, he follows me, and he was messaging me the other day. He was doing his first bodybuilding show this month, and he's been dieting since January. Like he's a big dude, and he found out like 2 weeks ago that the show's canceled. He was a month out. He was like 4 weeks out, and so he's been dieting for like 12 weeks already.
Yeah.
and going through shit, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, you can't get beat."
Right in like the fucking horse shit of all.
Yeah,
of
like
this,
the
dude.
worst. You've already gone through quite a bit of pain to get to that point,
Right.
and now,
Right.
oh man, because like the
That's
last 4 weeks is not bad. Like the last 4 weeks is kind
no.
of shitty, but it's like not as bad. It's like those middle like 4 to 5 weeks, I think, that are the worst. Like 10 to 4, I think, is like the worst
Yeah.
part of the prep.
Yeah. I remember probably just because of how fucking like how flat I was and just like how fast I was cut for my show and stuff like that. I do remember the last I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks out from my show. I remember walking into a Target and everything looked good. Like things that I wouldn't have even have like normally have like wanted to eat. Like I saw like a Gatorade bar, like those protein bars. Like those are pretty good. Like they're pretty fucking yummy.
Yeah, but I don't
like,
crave that, you know?
No. I know. I like looked at it. I was like, oh my God, like everything just looks so good right now. Like, I don't know. It was wild. So I was definitely like, all right, my brain is kind of questionable right now.
Dude, that's the same thing as like the last show I did, right? Like I've never liked Oreos. Like I don't mind Oreos. Like I'll have like a cookies and cream Quest bar every now and then, and it's like, oh, that's good. Or like I'll have a cookies and cream like milkshake with some Oreos in it. But like I don't crave Oreos. But ever since that, like 2 weeks out from that show, I was just craving Oreos, and ever since then, I've like loved Oreos. It's like for some reason, like that like triggers like a happy memory in me or something now, where I'm like,
could be.
like I associate it like, oh man, I missed these so much when I was prepping.
You almost like created some kind of like a desire or like a habit
out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, that's funny. I did. What did I remember the first thing that I ate, and I was actually kind of pissed about it because it actually kind of ruined my appetite for when I went to Cheesecake Factory after. But like, I ate a bunch of like literally an entire bag of the fun size Snickers.
Ooh.
Like like the little.
For some reason, the fun size ones taste hella good.
They're super good. Yeah, they're like super good. I don't know if it's because you just get like all of the goodness in like one bite. but those, I remember I ate like an entire bag of those and they were super good, but it like fucked up my appetite for like the remainder of the evening.
That will destroy you. Especially like because your stomach's already super small at that point. Like, there's no way. Like I feel like the first meal you have after a show is never as good as you expect it to be. Like it's always a letdown. Like I had some burger, I think, with Chrissy, like back in May, and I was like so stoked for it, and then I had it, and I was like, you know what, that wasn't that great.
Yeah. I remember my whole thing was I wanted to actually reverse diet and do it the correct way, like after that show, because I wanted to stay relatively lean and do a different show. But I was advised by poor advisors to just continue to get as big as I possibly could. And so I remember, I think after the first night, not even of really eating that much, but just of eating really shitty, probably bad hydration levels and stuff like that too. But after the first night I gained, I think it was 11 pounds.
You just go all out.
Yeah, bro. Like I looked, and I mean, there's always that, like, there's always that week after your show too, where you're like, you're still hella lean and you're like, still have the tan on too. And you're like, you're all carved up though. And you just look like a fucking Greek god. Like,
you just feel so good about yourself. You're like full and like juicy.
You're like, I look like, I'm pretty sure this is what Tren does to somebody. But
you're on all the steroids at that point.
Literally at that point, you're on a full cycle of everything. But yeah, I remember that though. I remember like a couple weeks after that though, I lost my abs. Cause like for me, like I have to be pretty goddamn lean to have like my full like 6-pack in. Like I have to be like probably like single digit body fat.
Really? You think that low?
Yeah, I have to be like probably like 10%.
That's still like, pretty lean though. 10%.
Like, yeah, like at least like for them to like look like for my bottom ones to come in, because like I just hold like my like lower abs that's where I just hold everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Talking about all this food and just like do everything, and like just like traveling places is giving me like withdrawals. Like I just want to like.
It's just making you even more depressed. Like I need to go. I need to go bang out 1,000 push-ups right now. Feel better about myself.
Yeah, let's just sneak into duo. Just go. Just tell Justin, hey, oh sorry, I thought you guys were open.
What do you mean? What do you mean the key card doesn't work?
What do you mean the key card doesn't work? Yeah, wait. Has anybody tried? Has anybody?
I haven't tried.
That's so funny.
I'm sure it doesn't work. I feel like he would have to disable that.
Yeah, I think he did. I think on the post they said that they disabled it. I was actually really bummed about that. I thought that we were still going to be able to get in if we had a key card, but that makes sense that we can't.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's a bullshit.
Fuck. Where's friggin' Jay, dude? What's Jay doing right now?
So I think Jay's on quarantine right now.
Because of the baby, huh?
I think he's a little worried he might have. I don't know, because he sells cars, so he's around people all the time. I think he's like super worried about catching it, or Kaya's super worried about catching it because she works in the medical field ish.
Right.
I think.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, she does. I forgot. I think you're right though. She does something. I can't remember.
Yeah, so I think he's on a little bit of quarantine at the moment, but he'll be back hopefully in a couple weeks.
Fuck, she works with
old people. I think
she works with like dead bodies, right? Isn't that what she does?
Yeah, she picks up at the morgue, but I think I want to say she also works at like a nursing home. But I can't be 100% though.
So that could be pretty scary between like a sales job and that.
Yeah.
Taking away from, I guess, your kid.
Well, I'm assuming too, if you're working at a nursing home, I'm assuming that they don't want you like just going out anywhere, really, because like that's like the main community that's like susceptible to that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Chrissy's grandma is in a nursing home down in SoCal, and like they're not even allowed to leave their rooms.
Really?
And like nobody's allowed to visit them. They have to stay in their rooms all the time.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Like, imagine that. Like I'm paying to be at this nursing home and you're going to tell me, "Oh yeah, you can't leave your fucking room."
That's pretty fucking shitty. I think another thing that a lot of people are paranoid about is like they can't so like let's say that you had the virus or something like that, but maybe like you didn't show symptoms or you're like a carrier of it. I think that's what like a lot of people are worried about is that like, well, I guess that would be just almost like with anything. Like,
I mean,
even if you had just like a common cold, like let's say I had like a cold, I was carrying the virus in me, but it wasn't like doing anything to me because my body was like fighting it off. But I could still give it to somebody else though.
Well, that's like some STDs too. Aren't there some STDs like that?
No, exactly. But yeah, we're not like freaking out about that. You know what I'm saying? Like
nobody's freaking out about HPV.
Which, you know, I've had since I was a kid. I'm just kidding.
I don't show symptoms, but I'm a carrier.
Probably do. I'm pretty sure that the statistics on that are actually pretty scary. I remember somebody telling me that it was basically just like if you've ever had sex without a condom, you might have it or like something.
So Wes has had it forever now.
So I was like, okay. I was like, oh, okay.
Wes is responsible for an outbreak that's taking down half of the U.S. right now.
I'm like, guys, different.
How many people have you spread HPV to?
Oh man,
thousands,
millions.
It just drips out of you into them. Oh god.
They create a test that like
narrows it down
to who the person was, and it's just I just like Genghis Khan like all these like people like it's Wesley DNA.
Your DNA is just traced to everybody.
I'm just like, oh, I'm like, nah, it's not me, different guy.
That's a different Wes. That's a different Wes.
They're like, really? It's a different Wesley Hamilton at Fuckboy Fitness on Instagram. Like, 100%.
That's what pops up on the DNA test. It's like Fuckboy Fitness.
Oh my
it's like,
man,
oh god,
you guys really fucking exposed me there.
Talk about branding though. It'd be great for the brand.
That could actually skyrocket some sales.
You could put that in your bio.
modern day Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Modern day, I don't even know.
It's like that mesothelioma commercial. It's like, do you have HPV? This might be the cause. It's a picture of fucking you.
Yeah, it's just me, just like.
It's your most fuckboy picture on Instagram right there. Like, just shoulders popping in the tank.
Yeah, God. I don't even have that right now, dude. It's all going. Can't even work out. I can't even do my trap hop right now. I'm losing all my fullness.
Damn, dude. Are you eating as much? That's the biggest issue I have. Is a lot of people eat a lot of food when they're not doing anything, but I feel like I almost eat less. I eat shittier food, but I eat less of it, and I don't hit my protein if I just sit around.
100%. That's the same for me. I'm not eating enough. I'm eating at bad times. When I am eating, I'm kind of binge eating just shitty food
with no nutritional value.
Yeah, no, I'm for sure. This week's been pretty bad for sure. I should probably like prep some meals just to like have some, like, you know what I mean? I like it's annoying because I want to like have some kind of structure, just kind of keep, maintain a little bit, but it's like hard to find the motivation right now.
I think that's the biggest thing out of this whole takeaway about like being quarantined is a lot of people, obviously it's new to them being at home all day. Mm-hmm. And so it's important because it's such a fuck up to your schedule, right? Like your normal daily routine, like we're creatures of habit. Like we want to stick to our routine on a daily basis. And so it's like such a fuck up to our routine, right? Like, I don't go that many places throughout the day, but like the fact that like I'm limited on when I can go and where I can go really just kind of like subtly throws off my whole day. And so I find myself sitting at home watching way too much Netflix and just binging on some shitty food. And then even when I do decide like, hey, I want to go do some sort of workout, right? Like I'm going to try to get something in, like it's at a weirder time than I normally go, or like a weirder time than I normally exercise. And so it's like totally fucking me, right? I think the biggest takeaway from this is trying to maintain as much structure and like routine into your day as possible. Like, to keep yourself motivated and keep yourself from going insane. Like last 2 weeks haven't really meal prepped, right? Like I've been eating like an asshole, and I feel it in my body. Like I was doing like push-ups the other day, and I feel like achy and I feel like shitty, right? And it's all because of the nutrition. Nutrition is just trash. Sleep schedule's trash. Like everything is all fucked up. And so it's important, like you're saying, it's important to meal prep, dude. It's important to get back onto a normal sleep schedule. It's important to try to implement as much routine into your day as possible, because like that's what's going to get you through this shit.
100%. Yeah, it's just having that discipline and still have, but yeah, it's exactly like what you just said. It's just being able to have the structure, but like, it's just tough right now.
Oh, it's 100% tough, dude.
It's like, it's weird, it's not even like, I don't know.
It's important,
I feel like I'm in a fucking dream right now, dude.
Yeah, it's very surreal. It's important though, dude. Like, because we are such creatures of habit, it's very easy to develop shitty habits right now. Like the binge eating, especially if we're in quarantine for the next 4 weeks, the binge eating can easily become a fucking routine, and it spirals out of control. The not working out, the not staying active, the not sleeping, that all spills into like some fucking routine and habit. And then when we actually do get back to going to like normality, it's gonna be so fucking hard.
Right.
Like laziness is a habit, dude. And the longer we stay in quarantine, the more I feel that happening, unless I legitimately make an effort to be more proactive in like keeping a routine.
Yeah, this is definitely like a pretty good test to be like, I don't know, when shit gets real or shit. But it's just one of those things where it's like nobody expected this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think so. Anybody who did, apparently they've been through some shit that I haven't been through, because I wasn't expecting this to happen. Like, I don't know. I not at least for this long. But it's definitely a good test to be like, okay, when shit pops off like this, who can stay like, I don't know, it's just a catch-22, because we're so hindered by so many different things right now. Like, you know what I mean? We can't even, like, I don't know, like, even just going places, going
Yeah.
outside, like, you know what I'm saying? But who can keep a somewhat structured routine when shit like this pops off? When we get fucking quarantined, you know?
Well, I think this is a perfect example of like how are you going to, you know, differentiate yourself from everyone else, because a lot of people are letting this literally ruin their fucking lives, right? Like they're
Yeah.
just sitting at home like depressed, they're getting fat, they're getting out of shape, they're, you know, not working on any goals in particular, right? Like they may be out of work right now and they're just sitting at home watching fucking Netflix.
Yeah.
And yeah, like they have a right to feel like bad about like themselves, like yeah, it sucks when you get laid off, right? Or do you take this time to elevate yourself? Like, take this time to learn some new shit? Do you take this time to, like, you know, work on your diet or work on your mental game or, like, learn a new skill or, like, start that business that you've always been talking about, right? Like, this is like that
Yeah.
time period. Like, it's almost like, hey, this is like free time for everybody. Like, you're going to get paid from the government. Like, you're going to get some benefits. Some of people are getting like paid leave right now. Like, this is time for you to like just play with. This is like recess, bro. Like,
Right.
this is a perfect opportunity to elevate yourself. And I feel like this is where people differentiate themselves. Like, are you going to just be like some fuck up and just sit around and just like blame everybody else like, for your problems? Or are you going to actually take some ownership and start making moves towards, you know, improving your life for when after the quarantine's done?
Right. Well, and it's just one of those things, you know what I mean? Like, what's easier? What's the easier option? Just to sit
Netflix.
around and do nothing, right? To sit, yeah, exactly. Netflix and fucking, which there are some good shows on Netflix right now for sure.
Oh, 100%, dude. It's like Netflix knew this was coming and they're like, hey, let's
Yeah.
drop all this dope shit right now because people are going to be sitting on their ass.
Which is like, that's kind of one thing that I did actually have hopefully in the back of my mind was I was like, I really hope that like Netflix and Hulu and like HBO, like everybody comes together and they're like, hey, everyone's at home, so let's drop dope shit like right now.
Yeah.
I was like,
You remember all that
because
shit that we were going to save for like next year? Let's just drop it now.
yeah, dude, fuck. But yeah, no, exactly. Like touching on what you're saying. It's like whatever people we live in a day and age where people want convenience, people want easy shit, people want like it now. You know what I mean? Sort of thing. So it's like whatever the easier option is. With that being, you know, sitting at home doing nothing and just complaining about stuff. That's obviously what the majority of people are going to do. Shit, that's like what I'm doing right now, basically. Like
Yeah.
to a point. Kind of.
But see, that's the thing though, is like, it's just natural. But
Yeah.
you still got another 4 weeks, right? So it's like it's almost like a grieving period, right? Like you go through that little bit of
Yeah.
like denial and then like acceptance kind of thing. So like
Yeah.
the first 2 weeks, like yeah, you're pissed off, you're upset, you're in denial kind of, and then like these next 4 weeks, that's where you like put the gas down, dude. Like you
Yeah.
can start working on fuckboy fitness and like branching that out, creating some gear, creating some merch, you know, creating some
Yeah.
content. Like this is the perfect time to start doing some YouTube content. Like you're not gonna be able to do anything like in the gym necessarily, but you can start making some fucking videos, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna use the next 4 weeks for. Like I was supposed to do all this traveling, so now I'm just gonna devote it to like working on Blast House, working on creating more content and that type of shit. Like
I know. I almost want to. This whole thing almost makes me want to go take like a super shitty selfie of myself in the mirror right now, and then use this as like a.
the before
This is gonna
picture.
be like, yeah, like my before picture, and then like this is gonna be like my post quarantine transformation.
There
Like,
you go.
but something like dope. But like, I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. The big thing, yeah, I think for me and probably most people right now is just the not being in the right mindset, having that depressed lack of motivation, like kind of mindset that is just like not getting the ball rolling, you know, or just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in such a weird time. Because it's one thing if you're like this, we go through periods like this, you know, and all the time, but it's like this is like, I don't know, like literally being on lockdown. Like this is, I think, what like will really expose it for a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, no, like you said though, you gotta. The big thing I think is people need to establish structure right now,
Mm-hmm.
to a point, you know, like at least with just to keep your mental sanity and just
Just for
maybe
the
to
sanity,
work
yeah.
the sanity and just like yeah, if you have other things that you couldn't work on because of your other job, and maybe you're not working that job right now, this is a time to work on it for sure. This is like,
100%, dude.
you know,
This is like it's like free time for most people, right? Like the government's paying for some people, or you're on unemployment, or your company's paying for you to have this time off. Like this is
yeah,
this is like playing with house money, kind of.
yeah, yeah, it's true.
But yeah, dude. Speaking of Netflix, though, before we end this, we have to talk about the Tiger King, dude. Because that, like, how have you not watched it already?
Okay, so I think almost a week ago I started. How many episodes are on it?
I think it's 7.
Okay, but it's not all about. Is it all about that the zookeeper? Is it all about that same guy?
Well, it's all about his story, but like
Okay,
it talks to other people too.
okay.
Like it does like episodes that are basically about like the other people involved in the story.
So I'll have to watch it, but I saw the first episode.
It's
I
pretty
need, but
wild.
yeah, the what like so was it somebody that was working for him? It was
That
somebody
what?
that was like working for him that got attacked. Like,
Well, there's a lot. Like he's in jail right now.
doing a bunch of illegal shit.
Yeah, he was doing a bunch of illegal shit, and then he got in trouble because he had like this feud with this other. Like he owned a zoo, and then this other lady owned a zoo, but she didn't call it a zoo. She called it like a rescue, and so she viewed herself as like better than him, and so they had like a feud, and like he threatened to kill her a bunch of times,
Whoa,
and like they had like a feud basically on the internet, and they got into a bunch of like shit about that, and like it's fucking wild, dude.
So
He just didn't give a
I'll tell,
fuck. Like
tell you one thing, dude. He's got some hair.
dude, he's
For
got
sure.
the glorious mullet.
Yeah, he does. He sounds crazy though, bro. What
Dude,
the fuck?
I don't even know what's in the first episode, but he's got like he's a country singer, like he's a fucking character, bro.
Yeah,
And he's got
he
2
looks pretty good.
husbands. Like
Oh damn.
you didn't get that far?
I didn't get. Wait,
Yeah.
Is that in the first? Is that in the first or second episode?
I don't know. It's in one of the
Fuck.
it's either
I need to watch that. That's like the number one that's trending on
dude,
Netflix
it's
right now, right?
wild. Like it's crazy. I saw like the first day of quarantine basically, and
Fuck.
now everybody is like talking about it. It's like, dude, it's
Yeah.
blowing up. And it gets
blew up.
wild. It is probably the most insane story I've ever like heard. Like if I were to explain it to you, like just like, hey Wes, like listen to this story, you'd be like, dude,
Yeah.
that's made up as fuck. Like there's no way that's real.
Well, even just you explaining his character right now sounds fucking crazy. Like
He
sounds like some.
he sounds like a Danny McBride character, like Eastbound and
does.
Down, bro. Like
Sounds like, yeah, he literally does. He sounds like a crazy version, like a crazy hick version of like Red from Pineapple Express, like his like
Exactly,
like,
dude.
drug dealer like character, like,
bro. No, it's wild. It's got drugs, it's got murder, it's got conspiracy theories. It's got like he runs for president. He's a country singer. He's got 2 gay husbands. One of the zookeepers gets attacked. Like it's fucking wild, dude.
That's insane. See, that's so crazy that it talks about all that, because I thought it was just going to be like a limited like 1 or 2 episode series about just that zoo or the worker just getting fucked up by like a tiger or
No,
whatever.
that's like a very, very minor part of the thing.
Holy shit! I gotta watch. I'll probably.
That's actually only like literally like 5 minutes of the whole thing.
Jesus, that's insane. I thought that was like the main thing.
No, that's like nothing.
Damn.
It's wild too, because like you look at the dude and you're like, dude, there's no way that you're like, that guy probably has like $100 in his bank account, and then you find out like how much his zoo costs to run. It costs him $250,000 a year just in food for the animals.
Really?
Dude was making a lot of money.
That's crazy. But you wouldn't think it.
No, you just look at that dude, you're like, dude, that guy's redneck fucking trailer trash as fuck.
Just some bum. Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
Dude, you have to watch it.
On the level of, did you ever watch what is it? Abducted in Plain Sight. What was that movie or what was that documentary? Did you ever watch that on Netflix?
Which one is that?
That was the one. That was the one here. Hang on. That was the one about the entire family that was basically just getting like, fucking abducted in plain sight. Yeah, it came out in 2000.
Actually, I did see that one.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
doesn't the guy basically has sex with the husband too, right?
He has sex with like everyone.
The whole
He has sex
family.
with, like the whole family, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did see part of that.
How crazy is that compared to?
I would say they're very, very similar.
Okay, because I like
that is a very insane story to think about.
Dude, that story is like probably
basically convinced the dude to have sex with him. I don't understand that at all. But
oh man, yeah, no, he did, and that's how he did it. He blackmailed the shit out of them, dude. Oh my god.
No, here's a way for me to explain how crazy this story is. I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. So, dude has 2 husbands, right?
Yeah.
One of them is not gay.
Oh.
He basically picks this dude up at the bus stop, and he's like he's just being nice. He's like giving him a ride. He's like, "Are you gay?" And the guy's like, "No." He's like, "Well, here, let me ask you this. When you watch porn, do you like seeing the guys with the big dicks have sex or the guys with little dicks have sex?" And he's like, "Well, obviously I watch the bigger dick guys." He's like, "Well, then you're not that straight." He basically convinced him he was gay.
No.
And they got married.
Bro.
It's fucking wild, bro.
Oh my god, is he like? I was wondering if it was almost like a sugar daddy kind of situation.
Pretty much.
That's the crap, dude. That's wild. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it today.
Go watch it so we can talk about it on the next episode because it's fucking insane.
God, bro. Well, shit.
All right, dude. I think we should call it here.
Yeah. Do you think it got everything on the?
I mean, I think we hopefully recorded the whole fucking thing.
All right. I was just wondering if we went over and it cut some.
But I think we should try to get a guest for next episode.
Yeah. Quarantine.
Since
guest.
everybody's at fucking home, like there's no excuse for somebody to be like, "Oh, I don't have time."
Yeah. No, for real.
Let's
I know anybody who says that to me is getting the unfollow because another lie.
You're so full of shit. What do you mean? You're on quarantine.
You don't have time. I know you're at home watching Tiger King.
All right, dude.
Man. All right, bro.
We'll talk soon.
I'll just talk to you in a bit.
Yeah. Stay safe, my friend. Don't lose all your gains.
Try not to.